like Mansur al-Hallaj, was executed in Baghdad because of the alleged apostasy. And but he says, to my mind, when I read, I feel that Lord Muhammad, that the Holy Prophet Muhammad himself, was an outstanding mystic and visionary. And he says that it's not only that much. I believe that the promised Messiah, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, he was also an exponent of Sufi doctrines, that he was also Sufi, he was also an exponent of Sufi doctrine. Esoteric. Esoteric, yes. Was undoubtedly an exponent of the Sufi esoteric doctrine. And he said that translated in Arabic or Urdu, those who believe in the inner self-surveillance soul, ground yourself into your own inner being and getting out the jewels of wisdom from your own head. And he says that I have come to this conclusion because Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed belongs to the impeccable lineage of Salman Farsi, who himself was a Sufi and who was a companion of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. With this background, he comes to the questions. Yes. He says that the first question that I would like to ask is, do you consider that Sufism is still a dynamic and enduring aspect of the Islamic faith? That's number one. Yes. Number two, does Sufism have any relevancy in our present day society? Number three, does the law of Islam restrict the individualistic approach of man in his quest for spiritual attainment through the medium of Sufism? Number four, can Islam survive and prevail if the expansion of Sufism is curtailed by strict interpretations of Quranic law? I would hand over this I may have a repeated reference to make to these questions, Now, the background is very clear now. The first part of the question is, do you consider that Sufism is still a dynamic and enduring aspect of the Islamic faith? Before answering this question, I must point out that Sufism is to be further defined. The definition given by him of Sufism is not enough. Sufism can be defined in a way as the whole questionnaire would drop out automatically, and it would become so evident and so obvious that Sufism and religion, as Islam is, are one and the same thing. So the question was superfluous and meaningless. And Sufism can be defined in a way as well as the answer to all those questions could be a categorical no. As if that Sufism has no relationship with Islam. And there could be a wire media sought out. Because Sufism is a term now which is widely understood but differently, unfortunately. So before attempting to make a definition of Sufism, which would be very elusive anyway, because it may not be acceptable, my definition may not be acceptable to another Sufi, or a Sufi creed, particular creed may differ. So let me first explain to you what Sufism came from, how it originated, and how it got classified into various airtight compartments, and what
is understood by the West nowadays, generally speaking, by Sufism. As far as the time of Hadhrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is concerned, although the present day writers on Sufism try to trace back Sufism to Hadhrat Salman Farsi or to Hadhrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu or to some other companions of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and want to establish the fact that Islam existed at that time in two tiers at least. One was the apparent tier, which was understood and practiced by the common man, and the other was the underlying tier, which was only understood and well, if not practiced, but acceded to for greater enlightenment by a certain class of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam followers. And they understood the secrets of things, the underlying message of the Holy Quran, and they just did not practice it superficially as others did and got satisfied with that. This is how they start the concept of Sufism, dating it back to the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I do not agree with that. It's totally wrong. The fact is that there was no concept of Sufism as such, as distinct from Islam, at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only model given to the world was the model of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he kept nothing secret from the world. He disclosed all that was disclosed to him to his companions equally. He distributed the treasure which he received from Allah to all alike, to the black as well as to the white, and the colored, non-colored, his own people and those who had come from foreign lands like Salman Farsi himself. And he did not make any distinguish between his family members and non-family members. So all the wealth of his traditions is now a common treasure of the world of Islam. How he lived, we know. And what stresses he laid upon a quiet, secret contact with Allah, and what stresses he laid upon an open establishment of relationship with Allah, and what he told us about our relationship with our fellow human beings and all that, everything is so clear that it is impossible to conceive of a secret current of religion flowing underneath the superficial surface of Islam. So all the talk of esoteric Islam having been born at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as distinct from another Islam which is called Sharia is all a hocus pocus and imagination of later days. But what we find there is a perfect harmony of all these three things which have been mentioned by the writer of this letter. He is correctly understood that no religion can be complete without paying attention to intellectualism as well as to emotions. And the representation given to emotions is by love. That stands for the emotions. The ultimate direction given to man's emotion is love. So in short, this is a good expression of every religion. I mean, every religion worth a song. And thirdly, he speaks of secrets, esoteric tendencies. There he is misunderstood. It was not the type of esoteric tendency which is found today in various cults.